Hi, it's Karen and TK, and we are so excited to be able to spend this time with you right now and just explain the 10 strategies that we used in our lives to really get out of the diet trap. That's what we're going to cover today, is just how to escape the diet trap, how to lose weight permanently, and how to do it without starving, without sweating, and without any extra added pain and suffering. So we're just going to dive right in. First, say hi to TK.
Hello.
And let me explain kind of the process that we're going to use walking through this presentation, and then we'll just dive right in. So we're going to start by telling you a little bit about why we're doing this, our story, and really why diets don't work and why we are all so stuck in this crazy cycle and can't seem to get out of it. We're going to cover the 3 biggest myths when it comes to weight loss, and then we're going to share with you our secret strategy for losing weight. And we're going to get into 10 very specific strategies that will help you not only lose weight, but actually keep it off and really shift your body in a whole new direction where you start heading towards better and better health all the time. Then we're going to share a really cool program that we have that can help you get there and answer some questions that you may have. So let's dive right in. I'm going to have TK share his story first.
Yeah, thanks. So, that's me on the left, and I think my story is very similar to a lot of people's story. I mean, I was, when you're in your 20s, you get out of college, you start your life, you find someone to, settle down with, you get married, you have kids, you just start building a family, you get a career, get a house, all these things, and I was just going down that path. I think I was just your average American guy with an average American family, and I found myself in my 30s, that guy on the left there. I was over probably 235. That was me on our summer vacation at the beach, and I just wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I had probably a lot of health problems. I was going, thinning hair, going gray. I had heart palpitations, high blood pressure, all these things were going on. I just wasn't comfortable in my own skin, and I knew that I was headed down a path that just wasn't, very healthy. And I committed to myself at that point. I said, by the time I turned 40, I want to be in really good shape. So I spent most of my 30s, probably from, my early 30s to till I turned 39, trying all the different diets. I did the weight, the Atkins, South Beach, Body for Life, Slim Fast. I tried everything, and I always could lose a little weight, but I always came back on. So I went through this my whole 30s with this up and down kind of yo-yo type of diet thing going on. And come my 39th birthday, I said, self, you gotta get serious. This is ridiculous. You spent the last 8 or 9 years going up and down on all these crazy yo-yo diets, and nothing was working, and you're nowhere close to being in the shape that you want and in any kind of good health. And so my 39th birthday, that last year, I really got focused. I started working out as much as I could, really trying to watch what I ate, and I managed to get my weight down about to 193, I think. And I knew I was about 2 months out from my 40th birthday. I knew I wasn't quite where I wanted to be, so there happened to be a fitness studio down the street from my house that was just opening up, and I called them down there and told them my situation, and they helped me, kind of for the last 2 months going into my birthday, kind of get that last few 10 or 13 pounds off. And I was happy at my 40th birthday, and I got to where I kind of wanted to be. But what happened, and what I found after that, is I spent the next 3 years trying to improve upon that and really get to where I really wanted to be, and my health was good and all this. And I found myself, working at this fitness studio for 3 years, that I was at my goal weight, but I had to work out more and more and more to maintain my ideal body weight. And I ended up at, the 3-year period, I was working out around 8 times a week, and I knew my body couldn't take it, my joints couldn't take it, and it was just a lot of time in the gym, and I didn't have that kind of time. I knew this was not something that I could maintain for a long period of time, and so I knew something had to change. So we met with a nutritionist, and once we learned a little bit about food and started making some tweaks with our food, things started to change, and it just kind of snowballed from there. I got certified as a specialist in fitness nutrition. I started doing all the research I could on this topic. I started counseling people and helping them do the same. And after that, it just all snowballed, and I got to my workouts where I just work out 3 times a week, 45 minutes. That's it. I really don't worry too much about what I eat. I just have my body in this place where it's very well balanced, and it's just not a problem to maintain, what you see there on the right. And it's, I guess that's...
And it's been, it was a long, as you can tell, it was a long struggle to get there, and I'm sure you're very familiar with it. And it was brutal. For those couple of years that TK and I were working out, like, that was our hobby. That's all we did. We pretty much just worked, and we worked out. And like you said, it just, gets really hard on your body and your time. But there was also a story kind of going on the other side of the family as TK is going through this whole experience, up and down and up and down, and we're changing our diet and we're eating these kinds of foods, and now we're not eating those kinds of foods. As you can imagine, with our 2 girls growing up in this environment and just watching us with this yo-yo up and down thing, it's kind of a weird place to grow up, I think, as a kid. But for me, food was just always just about convenience. So I just needed something quick, something easy. We're so busy, we got to go work out, we got stuff to do. And so we were just always driven by convenience. And I think there was a point where we really looked at our habits and realized we're eating out 3-4 times a week. And whether that was just grabbing something quick, grabbing takeout, whether it was frozen stuff or any of that kind of thing. And we really just didn't think that much about food. We felt like we were making healthy choices, but we really didn't know that much about food, about where it came from or any of that kind of stuff or how it works in your body. During that time, though, our family just made this huge transition, because as we became more and more connected with our food and understanding where it came from, and as soon as we started taking better care of ourselves and TK and I started making these better choices, the girls also started making those same choices. They started following along with us, and pretty soon food became this thing that brought us all together. And this picture here that you're looking at is us on any given night in the week. This is us around the table. The girls will turn down a date to make sure that they're home for dinner. And it's pretty amazing to have that kind of connection and to no longer have guilt and no longer struggle around food, but actually to have it be something that's fun and that draws us together. That's when I got really excited about it in our family, when I realized that transition had taken place. And then, of course, it even happened for our dog.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens. Oscar, that's him right there. He had, allergies to food, and we tried all different types of foods, and it wasn't until we
I can't even tell you how much money we spent chasing different types of foods for him.
And the funny thing is that once we've got the right food for his body, his allergies obviously stopped, and his weight went down, and now he's very lean, and he looks, very appropriate for his body, and he's happy, and he loves his food. He jumps up and down. The guy, how old is he? He's
12.
Like
11, yeah.
12, and the guy just looks like jumps up and down every time dinner time comes along, because he loves what he eats, and he has
he's
tons
happy.
Of energy. And the same with our family. There was some issues that got cleared up after,
Katie had several different health issues growing up, and we never connected those to food. But as our food got better, she got better, and all of a sudden we realized the connection. So it's just pretty amazing what food can do for you. When you get the right thing going in your body, suddenly all of it starts to fall in place. So that's what we want to share with you a little bit today.
So this is our friend Bob, and as you can tell by the frustrated look on his face, he's struggling with his weight. And I think a lot of us can relate to this, and I know I can. Like, losing weight was one thing, but I always got frustrated because it always came back. And
it's so funny looking at Bob, because I just, so many of us relate with that feeling. It's like, what is wrong with you, Scale? Come on, work with me.
Yeah, that's funny. And now, losing weight is kind of easy. The hard part really is keeping it off, and that's really the ultimate goal. Losing weight is one thing, but keeping it off, that's what we truly want. And so...
So let's talk. There really are a lot of myths out there, but 3 in particular that we're going to talk about, because these are really the things that keep us from being able to reach our goals. So let's talk about the 3 biggest myths.
Okay.
The first one is exercise and diet.
Yeah, this is my biggest pet peeve, I think, and this is why one of the things I try to unprogram from my clients first thing, because this is what everyone tells us. If you go to your doctor, if you go to the gym, if you go to, anyone will tell you, if you want to lose weight, they're going to tell you, well, all you got to do is, move more and eat less. And the problem is that is what we've been told for the past 30, 40 years. And
clearly it's not working. I think we're all starting to figure that out now.
Yeah, and Mary here, she's trying to figure out, and she can't do it. It's just there's something else going on here. And the key is that this is assuming that we are in a vacuum and that our bodies are just this empty vessel and there's no other factors other than what goes in and what comes out. And science is showing us now that there actually are some factors. Our chemistry plays a very important role.
Our hormones and all of that.
Yeah, and so what we have is, if you can...
if it's all about the exercise and stuff, the math doesn't add up.
Yeah.
If I go to a workout class and a really good day, I work out really hard, I'll burn 350, maybe 400 calories in that workout class at the most. And that's a pretty intense workout class.
Yeah.
And yet I can just go buzz into Starbucks afterwards and order one little treat or one little drink, and boom, that's gone.
Yeah, so you can see, and even on top of that, the calories labeling on our packages have a certain level of wiggle room where they're allowed to be off by a certain percentage.
By up to 20%.
Yeah, so you can see if you're counting calories, like Karen said, she's working out for a very intense hour or so, and she's burning 300 to 400 calories, and she goes to Starbucks or somewhere and gets a little treat that could be off 20%. You can see how it would be. She's going to be chasing this for a long time, and she's never really going to catch up with it. So,
and I think we're kind of making the connection that a calorie is not a calorie. That our bodies handle different types of calories different. So our body's going to do something completely different with a cupcake than what it's going to do with a piece of broccoli.
Yeah, and the key is, and what Karen just said, is there's certain types of foods that our body handles differently. I promise you, your body's going to process 100 calories of some broccoli much differently than it processes 100 calories of a cupcake, for instance. Our body is not the 100 calories of that cupcake at that second, is what those calories do on the long term to our biochemistry. And that's where the science part comes in. It's just not the 100 calories of that treat at that time. It's the long term effect that plays out for the days to come after that. It actually changes your chemistry and changes how your body craves foods and asks for foods and things like that.
And it also basically changes the way your body's set point and where it gravitates towards.
Yeah, that's a great point. I have this thing that I call a body fat thermostat. It's basically we have this set point. So a lot of times you might have this where you're at right now is you step on the scale, it seems to be constant at a certain number, whatever it is for you right now, and it tends just to be every day right at that number, and that's what I call the body fat set point or body fat thermostat. And it's kind of like the thermostat in your house. So say your house is at 100 degrees right now, and your thermostat is set at 100 degrees, and you want to cool your house off. So going on a diet and exercising is kind of like opening all your doors and windows to let the hot air out, but what's happening is your furnace, because it is listening to your thermostat, it's cranking up the heat, trying to keep up your house to 100 degrees. And this thing is going to be working around the clock 24 hours a day, every second of the year.
That's that feeling of frustration that you experience, is just that your body just keeps fighting against you, and you feel like, you're like, what's the problem? I opened all the windows and it's just not working out,
Exactly. And so obviously the fix is not, to go down to your thermostat and set it down to 70 degrees where you want it, rather than opening the windows, because once you do that, then your body will adjust and you won't be working against it. You'll actually be working, with your body.
And that's really what we're gonna be talking about a little bit more today.
Yeah. So everything we're talking about is about all the steps and things we need to basically reset that thermostat and start working with your body.
So again, bottom line, it's just the exercise more and eat less. The formula just doesn't really pan out. And then the next biggest myth is that we have to suffer. We have it all in our mind that we really have to, give up all the things that we want and love, or that we're going to have to go without, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think this is the biggest roadblock for most people, and it was for me. Whenever you think about starting on a program or a diet or whatever it is, you always worry about, I'm going to have to give up the things that I really love. I'm going to have to give up my pizza or my wine or my cookies or whatever it is. It's that's the biggest roadblock for people, and it's kind of hard to.
And it's funny too, because people will look at us and kind of make assumptions about what we must do or what we must go without, and really we have the most amazing food at our house. And I know, in comparison to what my life was before, the fact that, I mean, I eat such huge amounts of food now. We used to use little tiny plates
I switched over to dinner plates from when we're trying to lose weight, from the big dinner plates to the salad plates, just so we can physically fit less food on our plates. And recently we had to switch it back because there wasn't enough room for
There's
all the
stuff
food.
falling off our plates because we have so much food. So it's really not about less food. It's not about even less enjoyment, because we get so much joy, and so we've learned to really create some great things to eat. So
Yeah, now I tell my clients, you never have to give up anything you love. I just don't promise that the things that you love and crave won't change over time. And that's really the key.
that's one of the hardest things to understand and wrap your head around. But the truth is, when you finally get to that place where your body is driving your decisions, but it's driving you towards health instead of driving you the other direction, it just makes things so much easier. And so that's where we really want to help you get to that place.
Yeah, and I just have one. I have a client that I worked with recently, and she went home for a holiday or something like that. I forget what it was, but everyone was commenting, "Oh, you lost so much weight. What are you doing?" And she was sitting there trying to explain to them what it was that she was doing to lose the weight, but she couldn't really put her finger on it. She just had to think about it. Like, I don't know. I'm just eating what my body's telling me, and as I'm losing weight, I'm not craving anything. I do what I do. And what had happened, and the reason she could say that is because we made these small little changes, which we're about to talk about with you guys here, over a period of time. It's just we didn't implement a ton of things all at once. We just, a little bit at a time, made small changes, and we were resetting her chemistry the whole time, resetting that thermostat so it was going down.
And then pretty soon you wake up one day and you think, wow, how did I get here? When did this all happen? So
yeah.
So again, just looking at that, just remember, this is a flawed theory. This whole starving plus exercise does not equal weight loss. We do want to tell you what the secret sauce really is, though, and here it is.
So the secret sauce is there is no secret sauce.
Don't you hate that? There's no secret sauce.
Our approach when we work with our one-on-one clients is, everyone's unique. Everyone has a different lifestyle. Everyone has different genetics. Everyone has different work. I mean, there's so many.
And this is actually
things.
really good news, because if you're struggling with something and it's that diet may not work for you. So we want to help you find the things that work with you, that you're not fighting against yourself, and that's when things start to really shift.
Right, and if you go on Amazon right now and search for diet books, you're going to come back with over 70,000 diet books, which makes a lot of sense, because I think there should be a diet for every person
Yeah.
in the world, because it is a very unique and personal thing, and I don't think all diet approaches are right for everybody, and our approach is just to share with you the tips and understanding how to work with your body and find out what's right for you.
Because when you start listening to your own body, that's when you can make those decisions. I mean, if you start following the news and all the latest information that's coming out on nutrition and all of that, you're going to get all kinds of conflicting information. I mean, you're going to read something one day that says, whatever you do, make sure you drink coffee regularly. Oh, and then the next day it's going to be whatever you do, never drink coffee ever again. And the same thing for red wine, and they'll tell you the same thing for meat. They'll tell you the same thing. I mean,
eggs.
There's so many things. You could go nuts trying to figure it out. And so the real strategy is to learn to listen to your own body and know what works for it. And there are some specific ways to get yourself there, which is what we're going to talk about. 10 very specific strategies,
Okay.
right? Okay.
So there's a lot of them here, so we should get to them.
And actually, get out a pen and
Yeah.
a piece of paper and get ready to write these down, because these 10 things really can change your life. And when you hear them, you're going to look and you're going to actually kind of think, oh my gosh, okay, really? These 10 things, this is it? This is the answer? And it's because they're such simple strategies, but when you really start to think about them after, we go our separate ways today, really think about them. And it's hard to implement them in our world today. And that's why we've just gotten so far away from them. And so, anyway, let's talk through each one of them.
And what you said was so true. I forgot what I was going to say. It'll come to me.
Okay.
Well, these are simple, and you're right. People think we all want I wanted a magic bullet. I want a
just
secret
give me a
diet
pill and let's get on with it.
I wanted the the thing that would just fix this for me, but there isn't a thing that's going to fix it. It's going to be a series of things that you have to do to figure out what's right for your body, and those added up will change your body.
And again, it's about getting, like we talked about, those calories and understanding a calorie is not a calorie. And if you can get your system cleared out enough that you can actually hear your body when it sends you a message, that's where things start to really click.
Yeah.
So
okay, so we're gonna get these kind of fast. So get your pen and paper ready.
Oh, and sugar's a big one.
So this one is, I'm gonna spend a few extra seconds on this. I know I'm not supposed to, but sugar, right? Get your piece of paper, write sugar. I want you to go ahead and underline it, circle it, draw stars around it, and put a bunch of arrows to it, because this is probably the most important one. And I made this change for all my clients. This is the first thing I work with them on, and I've seen amazing changes in a very short amount of time from just one little tip. And it's what we call sugar or added sugar. And in 2009, the American Heart Association released not to exceed numbers for added sugar in our diet, to not exceed for women for about 32 to 34 grams. And I'm sorry, women is around 26,
yeah.
And then men is 32 to 34 grams per day for heart disease.
This is to avoid heart disease.
Right. So this is not to exceed added sugar in those amounts. And what added sugar is like sugar that you would put in like your, a cupcake or a cookie or Coke or.
And not just table sugar. I mean, if you look at a product and the label and it says that there's a certain number of grams of sugar in it, there's some form of sugar that's in there.
Yeah.
And that's what you're looking for. And you'd be surprised when you start adding those numbers up. I mean, seriously, go count your grams of sugar today in your food and notice how many, and you'll see how quickly you can get to 26.
Yeah. So first of all, if you don't want heart disease, that's the number. Now, if you want to lose weight, you want to reduce your added sugars as close to zero as possible. And sugar is one of those things that messes with your biochemistry. I'm not going to go into the specific reasons on this talk, but
we all know that. We all know that addiction, right? So
it's an addiction, but also it changes your chemistry. It changes your signaling. So your body asks you for more food and sends out those signaling to drive your body to eat. So it's not just those calories or that addiction of when you have it. It's the long-term effect like we talked about earlier. So this is an important one. If you do nothing else but this first strategy, you're going to see results, I promise, in the first week.
And in some ways it's so easy, because just take your products you're getting now and get ones that either have less sugar or find some way to eat that in a different form. So
to lose weight, you want to get that added sugar down as close to zero as possible. And if you really want to be good, the long-term goal would be to get your total sugar somewhere in the range of 30-ish. This is your fruits, your vegetables, all the sugars.
So again, sugar is such a huge topic, but really getting it down as close to zero with those added sugars, you're going to see a huge difference on the scale just in that one thing alone.
Yeah. And you won't even know why. It's just your chemistry is changing. So the next one is whole foods, and this is something I picked up at the farmers market. The reason we say whole foods is your body is designed and understands how to work with whole foods. It doesn't really understand and know how to deal with processed foods,
chemicals,
foods that have been messed with and added stuff and manipulated and changed and grounded down and all these things. And so the closer you can eat your food can be in the
way that it was found in nature,
the better off you'll be, the less you'll have to think about it. So the more you can eat stuff that looks like it came off a tree or grew out of the ground, the safer you are. So this is,
or like this piece of chard that some little critter's been eating, apparently.
Yeah, this is my thing. My thing is if some other living creature wants to eat it, then I think it's safe for me to eat. If it's perfect and no bug will touch it, then you gotta wonder if it's good for me too.
So really, focus on no processed foods, and when you read your labels, make sure that you can recognize all those ingredients as real food, as something you might have in your kitchen. And if you can't, then move away from that product. Try something else.
Yep.
Okay, our third strategy is no eating after dinner.
Yeah, this is actually just more of a trick than anything else, but there's science behind it. We have Sumo Joe here, and the Japanese sumo wrestlers, they understood the science of timing of food and eating after dinner. That's when your metabolism is its lowest. You're burning most calories midday, and it slows down at night. And usually, to the standard Americans, we used to have our biggest meal at night. And so, if you can cut your food off after dinner, just have a nice dinner, healthy dinner, and then no ice cream after. When you're sitting on the couch watching American Idol. Ice cream at 8 or 9 o'clock, and what's going to happen is your body's going to start shifting into a different mode of burning energy at night, and you want to be in that mode of burning fat as long as possible. So if you add some more food, at dinner, at 8 or 9 o'clock, then you're shoving that whole system back, and you're not going to get the benefit of burning energy while you sleep.
So no eating after dinner. Give that one a try. It's amazing how it works. The next one is 3 meals and 2 snacks. So this again gets back to that meal timing.
Yeah, so I'm glad we touched on that. Again, like I said, your natural metabolism is peak midday. What this is just saying
It's just understanding our energy levels and the way that our bodies flow and trying to keep them as consistent as possible.
Yeah, and you want to have a constant flow of energy throughout the day. And so having 5 meals a day is not, a huge, sit-down meal. It's just making sure you have a constant flow of energy. You don't let your blood sugar get too low so you go ups and downs during the day. And so having a strong breakfast, have a snack between breakfast and lunch, have a nice lunch, have a snack before you get home for dinner, and that should keep you feeling good. It should get your energy levels.
It'll also keep you from having those mid-afternoon cravings where you go do something crazy and eat a bag of chips or something. So
yeah, and then that, and exactly, you don't want to go into any meal overly hungry because you're gonna make poor decisions, and it's just going to throw off your chemistry. And it's going to be much easier for you to maintain that if you kind of follow this pattern.
And again, with those sumo wrestlers, I mean, basically their strategy is they skip breakfast, they eat late in the day, they eat all night long, they wake up in the middle of the night to eat again, so it really does, meal timing is really important.
Yeah, really quickly, that just reminded me of a couple studies I just read recently. Both of them had to do with meal timing. 2 groups of people, they each had 2,000 calories. They adjusted, everything was the same as far as exercise and everything else. The only difference was they gave half the group the 2,000 calories in the first part of the day, and then the second time around they gave it to them in the latter part of the day. And every single time the people that had their calories front-loaded lost or maintained weight, and every time people that had their calories back-loaded gained weight. And everything else was the same. It had nothing to do other than the timing of their food.
So that's really valuable, because if you think that you're doing everything right, maybe just tweaking the timing of your food could have a huge difference for you. The 5th strategy is green smoothies.
Okay, I know I said there's no secret sauce, but this is probably the closest thing there is. This green smoothie, it does so many different things. First of all, a lot of times our bodies are just starving for nutrients. So the first thing it does is it gives us what our body really actually needs to thrive on and function properly. A lot of times my diet had none of these things in it. And that was a problem because my body was starving.
Yeah, we were lucky if we had some little tiny side thing of broccoli or asparagus or something at dinner. I mean, that was pretty much the extent of vegetables at our house.
Yeah, so first of all, my body was starving for nutrients. The second thing it does is a natural detox. Basically, when you start losing weight and you start adjusting your chemistry and reducing the sugar and fat starts coming off of you, it releases toxins in your body. You gotta get that stuff out as quickly as possible. So a lot of these stuff that you would put in a green smoothie are natural detoxifying substances. They're high in fiber and they detox the liver and just get the stuff out of your body, and that's kind of the main key. And they actually taste good. And sometimes people go, ooh, it's green. But I have kids love this. Moms love it. They get addicted to it. It gives them, right away, I hear this all the time. The first week, I have so much energy and all these things. So many great stories. And it's just their body is just missing the stuff. And this is an easy way. I don't really care if you eat a salad with all this stuff or blend it up as a smoothie. That's just how it gets in the body.
The main thing is just get your raw green vegetables. That's what you really want to have going on.
Ultimately, if you can get that twice a day, you're going to be like a champ.
And you'd be amazed at how your cravings start to disappear. The 6th strategy is to eat at home more often.
Yeah, eat at home. When you go out to a restaurant, restaurants are in business to make you happy, make money. They want you to come back and buy their food again. They're not necessarily in business to make you healthy or to make you skinny. Some restaurants are spun that way, and that's great. But in general, you have no idea what they put in the food behind the scenes. There's extra fats and sugars and salt and all those stuff you probably wouldn't cook with at home, and all those kind of things add up. Eating out is not, every once in a while is no big deal, but when you eat out, I had one client that she ate out lunch every day, just because she was at work and she got for lunch. It's she didn't eat anything bad. She had salads or sandwiches or whatever. And I just had her made one change that first week. Is this all I want you to do is either bring your lunch from home or go home and have lunch because she had that convenience. So she went home and had her lunch. And the first week she lost, I think, 5 to 7 pounds just by making that one simple change. And so this is a big one. It's, when you're in the weight loss mode, this is what you want to do, is be in control of what's going in your food.
The next strategy we have here is to breathe and to chew.
Yeah, so stress definitely plays a role in managing our body fat in different ways, and everyone's different here, and so this is kind of tricky because we all have different lifestyles, we all have different jobs and family lives.
And we're also just so much, when you're, like so many of us when we're eating, we're just on the go. We're just like chowing down as fast as we possibly can, and that's, our body's stressed out.
Yeah, and digestion starts way before we eat, and if you're under a lot of stress when you eat, certain things happen, and systems shut down, so you just don't really get the benefits of your food all the time, and it can cause problems. So the quick little trick, just to make sure before you eat anything, is just take 5 deep breaths. 5 in, 5 seconds in, hold it for 2 seconds, let it out for 5 seconds, repeat that for 5 times right before you eat. That'll reset your stress hormones, so at least whatever it is you're eating, at least your system is not kind of in that mode of being under a lot of stress, and can really work with that food that you're putting in.
Yeah, it's such a simple little strategy just to kind of regain where you're coming from, your mindset. So the next one is water, which is always a struggle. I mean, we all know we need to drink more water, right?
Again, this is not as great water. It's so easy. But a lot of times most of my clients, I hook them up to this machine when they come work with me, and most of them are dehydrated, and a lot of times.
Yeah, and what we don't realize is that our bodies are, when we're thirsty, our bodies ask us for food. So sometimes you think you're hungry, but actually really you're just thirsty, because our bodies are programmed to know that there's water in our food, supposedly. Of course, these days there's not really very much water in our food. That's the problem. So we're programmed to go seek out more food.
Yeah, and Karen just nailed it. And it's this one little tip will help. And like Karen said, it's really hard. And if you just start out by having a glass between each meal and snack, and that's a good chunk of them right there. And
drink a glass of water right when you get up. Just a little glass of water with some lemon in it, and that's just such a great way to set up your body for the day. And you got one of your glass of water down before you even got going. Yeah,
that's actually a good little tip. That should be a separate tip. Is that lemon water kind of wakes up your digestive system and gets it ready for your food. So that's actually an important one. That warm lemon water first thing in the morning, that'll really get you set up on the right day.
The next strategy is just around animal protein, and we're specifically talking about meat and dairy.
Yeah, so this is a tricky one, and everyone's different. But in general, I think there's definitely not a lack of protein in the American diet. I think, I read a study, I think in 1900 to today, we're consuming almost twice as much meat as we were in 1900. Not quite double, but pretty close.
And certainly our lifestyle is different from it was back in 1900.
Yeah, I think life was probably more physically, we were probably more physically active in 1900, I would imagine. So I know I've sit in front of my computer most of the day, so I know I don't expend more energy. So just the tip here is just to pay attention to your, really your animal protein and play around with that. And it's, the quality of it is important with the hormones.
Yeah, because meat is really just not the same today as it once was either. I mean, we have that working against us as well. I think we're all becoming more and more aware of, just the way that meat is raised and all of that kind of stuff. So we have so many things working against us when it comes to meat. So
and really quickly, there's 3 types of people. There's protein people, carb people, and a combination. And some people need a little bit more animal protein or protein in general than others. I have different clients, and I never have a specific diet, so I really listen to the client's body, and we work with them to figure out what's right for them. And a lot of people need a heck of a lot less meat than they actually were eating before. Sometimes, some people eat it once a week, some people eat it once a day, but generally they don't have it 3 times a day like I used to. And this is figuring out what's right for your body. And even if you are a protein type, probably even having it once a day might be good for you, or maybe once a week. Personally, we eat it every couple months or whenever it comes up. It's just not a regular thing in our diet, and our body loves it and thrives off of it. So
yeah, some people do really good on a completely vegan style, of eating. Some people do well eating, less carbs and more protein and, all of that. So it's just about starting to learn what's right for your body.
Yeah, and really quickly, you mentioned the dairy too. That's kind of part of it. bundled up here, but our main concern with dairy is this is filled with hormones and all sorts of stuff that you have to be careful with.
And really, the main thing, I mean, why do we've all been raised to have milk because of calcium. I mean, that's really why we're having the milk.
Yeah.
And in reality, calcium comes from the earth.
Yeah, calcium's a mineral.
It doesn't come from the cow. It goes through the cow.
Yeah, and there's a lot of animals that are vegetarian that get strong bones from eating grass and vegetarian. Like Karen said, calcium is a mineral. It comes from the earth through the plant into the animal, and that's readily absorbed and more efficient for us to get it in that form. It's called calcium, not calcium. That's a joke.
So certainly, I mean, bottom line, when it comes, just pay attention to your meat and dairy. Try to to pull back on it some and see what happens with your body, and keep in mind just the quality of whatever meat and dairy you're getting. Like, pay attention to where it's coming from, pay attention to the source, and make sure you're getting the cleanest, hormone-free kind of meat and dairy that you can get your hands on.
Yeah.
The next tip is sleep. That's good news.
Yes.
We all need more sleep, and there's actually some very specific reasons why sleep is so important.
Yeah, I mean,
when it comes to weight loss.
Our friend Dave here has been burning the midnight oil at work, obviously, and there's been a couple studies out that I just read recently that sleep does play a role. At nighttime, our body does a lot of different things at different times throughout the night, and it's important to let the body heal and recover and do all the things it needs to do. If we don't let our bodies recover, that causes problems. So, but the two studies related to weight loss was they took, again, two groups of people. One group, they let them sleep around 8 hours or so, and then another group, they said they restricted their sleep to about 4 hours, and what they found, everything else was the same as far as calories and food and exercise and all of these things. The only difference was the sleep, and what they found is that it was about 20% more in a short amount of time. There's a 20% increase in calories, and the reason that was is because their cells became more insulin sensitive, which is a problem, and so they noticed some weight gain in just a very short amount of time just by restricting someone's sleep for a week or so.
So get a nap, get your sleep.
Yeah, so really we underestimate
just the importance we all get, it's such an easy thing to give up. So
plus it feels good, there's nothing wrong with it.
So why do these 10 strategies work so well? It's really comes back to what we talked about with that whole, it's getting back to the real information, getting away from that flawed theory of starving and beating yourself up, and instead solving the underlying problem, and not just, trying to cover up the symptoms. Really getting down to, working with your body and getting it set up to do what it's trying to do for you.
Yeah, it's all about resetting that chemistry, and like Karen said, working with your body, not against it. And, once you start doing that, then the body starts healing itself too. It starts dropping the weight, you start feeling better.
And that's when it starts to happen more naturally, and you're not working against yourself. I
have so many stories with clients that tell me, I have less joint pain, I've been taking off medications, I feel better, It's just so many different stories are just side effects of eating healthier and losing weight.
Yeah, these simple steps. So let's review them real quick, just in case you missed any of them. So, got your pencil ready? So start by watching the sugar. Remember that you're trying to get it as close to 0 added grams of added sugar. Yep. Eat whole foods as much as possible. Stay away from the processed stuff.
Nothing in a box or that comes through your window of your car.
No eating after dinner. Just a little extra tip about making sure your body has its time to do its processing.
So, no American Idol snacks.
Ah, darn. Eat 3 meals and 2 snacks. Remember, start off with a strong breakfast. That's the best way to start off your day. Yep. Add 2 green smoothies. Get those extra added greens and nutrients into your body. Eat at home as much as possible so that you can control what's going in your food. Breathe, chew, take time, relax, enjoy your food, savor it. Drink your water. Don't miss out on your water. Make sure you're not dehydrated. Cut back on your animal proteins. Watch where it's coming from. Pay attention to those things. And get your sleep. You do those 10 things, And it's pretty amazing how, like TK said, it just resets your chemistry and it gets your body working towards health instead of heading the other direction.
Yeah, and it's funny. We should put like you ever heard the tortoise and the hare story? What's that
Yeah.
one? I always, when I start working with people, they get frustrated because they want to lose all the weight. Like they watch The Biggest Loser or whatever, and they say, "Oh, this person lost 20 pounds in a week, and I want to do that." And again, that's looking for a magic bullet and a quick fix. And what I found, the way to permanent weight loss is really just making these easy, simple changes in your life. And really, if you take these 10 steps that we just gave you and start implementing them, and don't stress out about losing 20 pounds in a week, over time you're going to see significant, constant, permanent weight loss, and your weight's going to start slowly 1 to 2 pounds per week will start dropping off. And my goal for my clients is half a pound to 2 pounds a week is where I like the sweet spot to be. So I think for me that's maintainable. That gives your body enough time to adjust and get used. It's like slowly. You don't want to jam your thermostat down directly because it causes problem. If you slowly, bring it a degree down every week, and then before you know it, in 8 weeks or 9 weeks, you're gonna
You wake up and you're like, whoa, look at look at the changes.
And so, yeah, if you do it the other way, the quick fix, the diet, you're gonna be on a roller coaster, and that's how I was. So,
and that really can relieve a lot of stress when you think about it too. You if you're setting a goal for yourself when it comes to weight, look at this formula. If it's 1 to 2 pounds is the safe thing that you can kind of figure out. Hey, if I have 10 pounds to lose, it's probably going to take 5 to 10 weeks if I want to do that in a healthy way, and I want to do it in a way that's going to stick. So just remember that formula. So the next thing we just wanted to share with you is a new program that we have, and that it's really designed to, you look at all these great strategies and you think, well, great, I'm just going to go out and do that. But getting it done is hard, and the real hard thing is just to go through those small steps and to not lose your patience with yourself and all that kind of stuff, to have that accountability and have somebody hold your hand through that. So that's kind of why we've set up this program is, just if you just want somebody to tell you what to do, kind of hold your hand through the process, check in on you, keep you motivated, give you very specific strategies and shortcuts, and get into each of these topics in a lot more detail, and to be available to answer questions. So this program that we've pulled together, we're calling it the Transformation. It's 8 weeks to permanent weight loss. It's basically just an 8-week nutrition coaching program, but we're packing it with all kinds of tools, education, support, and information that you need so that you can, lose that 8 to 16 pounds in 8 weeks kind of formula that we talked about, and really reboot yourself and break through whatever that thing is that's holding you back. So we're going to really, get into the how of all of these things that we've just talked about, real life strategies on how to make these things practical, how to make them actually work in your life. We're going to give you roadmaps and really break it down into really simple strategies with the tools and support. And it also just lets you go at your own pace too, so that you can really reset your body's set point. We're going to be teaching you how to understand different foods, labels, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to set you up to establish some new habits and to kind of reprogram those automatic responses that you'll start to notice. And the big thing that we're teaching through this program is how to keep it off. And that's the thing that no diet program is really out there teaching you. They're like, teach you how to lose the weight, and then, when you get, back, you get off the diet, and then all of a sudden it comes back. Nobody's out there really showing you how to keep it off, and that's really what the focus of this program is. So we're going to explain a little bit about how it works.
Yeah, I'll talk about the mechanics of it. So each week your lessons will be delivered right to your email box, and so you don't have to worry about going anywhere. It comes right to you.
And it's in video and audio so that you can just listen to it on the go.
Right. And it's also accessible on your mobile device very nicely. You can, if you're out at soccer or taking a break at work or whatever, you can watch the video lessons on your phone. And then there's a video lesson each week, and then there's 3 focuses each week. So from what you learn, we say, okay, you just learned about sugar. Here's the 3 things we want you to focus on this week, and to help you keep on track toward your goals. And we also give you, in addition to the 3 focuses, a little homework assignment. It's just supporting material, educational things that are really important to support you on your goals.
There's
and
so much really great information out there. We've really sorted it through and picked out the best of the best stuff to save you a bunch of time.
Yeah, and that's really where the reprogramming happens, is in that education piece. And then on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, we'll have a Q&A call, and this is a live call with me and Karen on Tuesdays. We take your questions live, and if you can't make it, you can submit a question.
Yeah, we have a way that you can submit your questions remotely, and then we'll answer those on the call.
And they're recorded.
And you can play back the recording later.
And then on Fridays, we just do a check-in. This is accountability. Every Friday, everyone check in, send your weight. You can send your food log, and we'll take a peek at that stuff. And this is just a way to keep you on track and realize that someone's out there doing this with you and keeping track of it for you. And sometimes when someone's going to be looking at your food,
it just helps you make better choices. You know,
a little support never helps.
It always helps, right?
Never hurt.
Yeah, never hurt.
Always helps.
There you go. So, and then also there's just a lot of bonus materials, because we're really providing you with just that support and some of these things that require, it's not just about the food that you eat. It's really about the way that your mind works, and there's a whole lot of other things that go into it. So there's all kinds of great additional bonus materials that we've pulled together too through the program. And really, TK talked about the mechanics of it, but what it really boils down to are the things that you really get out of it, which is, people right away notice more energy. It really serves as that catalyst that gets you unstuck from this place that you're in and breaks you out of the diet trap. Really creates this shift in your relationship with your food. And you're also going to get results on the scale, bonus, and you're going to do all of that without having to starve, without having to exercise more, without having to suffer and go without the things, that you love. So I want to just give you a quick rundown on the program, because it's so important to TK and I as busy family people. We understand that, you don't have a lot of time and nobody has a lot of money. So we're trying to create a program in a way that you can get through this information in a way that doesn't take a whole bunch of time. And those videos, lessons that we provide are 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the week. It's just very manageable so that you can learn these things without having to invest a ton of time. I mean, it took us years to get through all of this kind of stuff. And then, it's not a lot of money. We don't want you're not going to need to buy prepackaged diet foods and supplements and all that crazy stuff that, that we've all fallen into. So here's Mr. Cheesy Sales Guy. Let me give you the pitch and explain how the program works. So, and the value of the program. Essentially, in those 8 weeks, you're getting the equivalent of 16 coaching sessions with us between that Q&A call and your weekly lesson. You're getting weekly support materials and homework, like TK said, extra videos and specific assignments and strategies that you can use week to week. We're also including some weekly recommended meal plans and some great recipes, some of our personal favorites and things that you can add into your mix for those of you that just don't want to have to plan that kind of stuff. And again, whether you don't have to eat what we're proposing, but we do have some great options available to you.
Those are things that we eat every week still.
Yeah, it's true. We also have bonus, the bonus materials, and then that motivation, that accountability, and that stuff. That's really the stuff that you can't put a price on. But the total value of all those things, when you add them up, and if you were working with us on our private, individual, one-to-one coaching, adds up to $3,450. So, I mean, this really is the true cost of the program. But by putting it in this format and being able to deliver it this way, we're trying to make it more available to more people. And so the way that we've structured it allows us to do it for 3 monthly payments of $165. That makes it super affordable. It's so much less than you would pay having to meet a nutritionist on a weekly basis. And you're getting all of these things all at once. Plus, you have access to it forever. So you can keep going back through the lessons and continue learning, because let's face it, health is an ongoing process. And you don't have to deal with crazy sales guy Vinny either. You get to hang out with TK and I. That's, I think that's the good news. So you have live access to us. You're getting the exact same strategy that we use with our private clients. You're getting information-packed lessons, just tons of really, really good leading edge information. You're getting life-changing bonus materials, and you're getting support from people who have actually been there and know what you're struggling with, and we've been able to help people through this process, and we would love to work with you and take you through it as well. So once again, here's just the quick overview of the value. And that main thing is just helping you to get it done right the first time, so you don't have to struggle and go through this crazy up and down and frustrated with yourself that you can't follow through and stuff. There's just something magic about having somebody with you for 8 weeks, helping you through those struggle points. Most people make it through week 4 or 5 with smooth sailing, and then they get to this place where you run into a bump in the road and you struggle, and we'll be there with you through that stage. So again, 3 payments, $165. We'll show you in a minute where you can go if you want to get more information about that program. But the main thing is just we want to help you lose the weight. We want you to have fun in the process. We want you to feel amazing. And we want to help you get results that last. So here's a page at the bottom here, thekitchenskinny.com/keepitoff. If you go to that page right now, or the button that's down below, and it's going to take you and give you an overview week by week of what the program does and what the process is and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm super excited about this program because, I work with people one-on-one every day, and it's, sometimes I can't work with people because it's just too much money, or, I just don't have the time to meet with everybody. And so it kind of breaks my heart when I come across those people I know that we can help. So this is our way of being able to deliver the same information that I work with my one-on-one clients with. It really honestly is, this is exactly what I share with them and I work with them. And I'm so excited to be able to deliver it to more people, because there's only so many hours in the day that I have to work with people, and this is a way that I can touch more lives. So personally, this is exciting for me.
So let's just go over a couple of questions that we get often. The first one is just, as far as this program goes, can I go at my own pace? And the answer to that is absolutely. And that's what's so great about the program. You can do it when it's convenient for you. If you need to listen to your lessons early in the morning, late at night, you don't have to be somewhere to get it done. You just do it at your convenience and move through the process.
Yeah, and I'll always be there for you. We have a lot of clients that told us up front, I don't want to do it really fast.
8 weeks,
I don't want to take my time. I just want to absorb it, and that's great. It's just totally up to you on how fast you want to go, but we're not going to have it go faster than the 8 weeks for sure.
And another question is, what if I'm a picky eater? And the good news with this program is we're not going to be telling you what you have to eat. We're not going to dictate to that level. We're going to teach you strategies and principles that you can apply to whatever it is you're already eating. And that's where it becomes, it works so great. Even if you're a picky eater and you're just, you don't like vegetables and you don't like whatever, we're going to show you ways to work around that.
Yeah, that's a great question. And if it was us telling you what to eat, that would just be another diet. We're trying to teach you how to take what you're already eating and massage it to something that you still enjoy, and that you actually, will be work to move that thermostat down. So.
And you'll also be surprised as you get your body point reset that your cravings change and your tastes change and things start to open up to you that you would have never thought you would touch before. So it's just getting to experiment and play. Yeah. So. The next question is, what if I'm not available for those Tuesday calls? Like, what if I can't attend and listen in live? And we do have those calls recorded, so you have access to those recordings throughout the program. So that's another thing that's great. You can submit your questions ahead of time. We have a form for you to use for that, and then you can listen to the recording and hear the answer to your question later when you get to it. Oh, and then someone asked too, what if I have vacation during this 8-week period? And again, it goes back to that working at your own pace. You skip a week, that's totally fine. Pick up where you left off, get back get back on it. That's what's great about the program. And even if you did plow through the 8 weeks, chances are you're still going to want to go back and review some of the lessons. So
Yeah, it's mobile friendly, so you can be sitting on the beach and submitting your questions to the Q&A call if you want.
I know what better way to vacation than just to take in new information and all of that. So, and then the last question here is, what if I start and then the program's I just find it's just not for me? And we want you to know that you do try it for the first 30 days. If for some reason after you dig in and it's not for you and you're not happy with it for any reason, we give you your money back, no problem. That's just how we roll. So we'd love to have you participate. Again, there's the place there, and read about it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us. And again, just get back, review those strategies, and start applying them in your life, and you'll be amazed at the results that you get.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks. Bye.